Hi there, it's me, Stephen Thomas, with Reports on Housing, and I'm here with yet another housing debrief. I invite everybody to like and subscribe to our channel. That just gets it out to more and more people. It broadens our reach on YouTube. And this week, we're talking about housing is in a recession. And you can see it in the numbers. This is courtesy of California Association of Realtors. This is detached sales year over year on a monthly basis. And you could actually see it was starting in July or June of 2021. It was actually negative year over year, and it's continued ever since. So we're stringing along many, many months of negative data when we're comparing it to the prior year. However, once we got to 2022, it gained steam. And in June of last year, that is when it was off by 21%. And that's where we started to see a significant downturn in the number of closed sales. And April, right now, it's down 36% compared to last year at this time. So the detached sales, this is for SoCal. That was all California. This is SoCal. Very, very similar. Off 27% in June of last year and off 37% in April of this year. And in the Bay Area, off 27% June of last year and off 39% April of this year. So very, very similar statistics across the board. Really what it points to is the fact that we are in a recession, a housing recession, and it's in terms of the number of units. Not necessarily values, we'll get into values in a second, but really it does boil down to the number of units. And when I'm talking about a recession in housing, when we're doing way fewer units, there are fewer buyers, there are fewer sellers that are active, there are fewer transactions taking place. So this affects everybody from title to escrow to the real estate agents, the real estate brokers. It affects inspectors. It affects just about everybody out there. Anybody that's tied to the real estate industry is feeling the effects of this recession. So it is currently a recession, and it's really in terms of the number of units. It's not a normal market as far as units are concerned. And you can see right now, this is Freddie Mac's home price index, and this is why it's not necessarily in terms of where values are headed. Now, values did peak out. It depended upon the area. In Southern California and Bay Area, it was May. In the rest of the country, it was in June. But it's 0% year over year. But that means that where we're at right now compared to last year, it's pretty much the same. For the United States, it's probably going to go negative. This is through the month of April. Once we get May's numbers at the end of this month, it'll probably show that there's a downturn year over year. A lot of people are focusing on year over year data, but if you're a homeowner or if you're a buyer in the market that is looking at the purchasing, really what you need to be focusing on is what's happening month to month, because that'll tell you the true flavor of what's going on. And in the United States, it bottomed in December. So values did come down from June all the way to December. December was a bottom, and then it started going up. Now, in California, it's down 5% year over year. So yeah, it's actually down year over year, but it's up 1% month over month, and that's from March to April, and it bottomed in January. So February, March, April have all been positive months, and that kind of tells you kind of the market that we're in right now. It describes the market is still hot, and we have appreciating values, but when you're looking at where values are right now compared to where they were back a year ago, well, they're down from where they were 1 year ago. So, but nonetheless, focus on what's really going on out there, and that is the fact that home values are climbing, even though we're in the midst of a housing recession in terms of units. We're still doing far fewer units, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. And you're wondering, so why do we call it a recession? What is going on in terms of sales? Why are we doing fewer sales, and why aren't values plummeting? Well, let's first thank our sponsor, and I would like to talk a little bit about reverse mortgages, because pretty much the man for reverse mortgages is Kevin Kaltenbach, and he's with Senior Financial Group, Inc. They are specializing in reverse mortgages. And Kevin Kaltenbach, you can reach him at 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. And really, I want to explain kind of what reverse mortgages, what that is. A lot of people don't understand it. And I have an uncle and aunt that are out in Colorado, and my uncle is in his 70s and he was still working, he didn't want to continue to work as hard as he was. So I talked to him about doing a reverse mortgage, and that's where you tap into your equity and you get a loan, and actually you no longer have a monthly payment. So you refinance everything, and your monthly payment actually comes out of your equity, and you don't ever lose your home or anything like that. It's a really solid program. You can actually purchase a home, as this talks about with reverse mortgage. You can actually purchase a loan. You can help your senior homeowners sell their current residence, use the equity to buy their next primary residence in one transaction, and at the end of the day, there's no monthly mortgage payment. So this really does apply to seniors that have a nest egg of equity, and it allows them to not have to worry about coming up with the monthly payment for their house. So Senior Financial Group, Inc., they've been specializing in reverse mortgages since 2001, and in 2023, Kevin was is the director of Orange County Realtors. And you can reach Kevin Kaltenbach at 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. Thanks again, Kevin, for your sponsorship. So people are wondering, so why are we having this recession in housing? Yet it's not really, we don't have values coming down. And everybody quickly jumps to, it really should affect the demand side of the equation, and it absolutely does. Last year, when we started off the year with 3.25% interest rates drove up higher and higher until they hit a peak of 7.37%, and that was in October. And then after that, it stayed in the sevens in November, and then it started to come down. Now, right now where we're at today is at 6.9%. And it hit a low this year. It was at the end of February at 5.99%. So almost was going to dive into the fives, but then we had a big jobs report that came out, and then it jumped from 5.99%. So really there is an affordability crisis. And I look at affordability, and we're looking at affordability. It's not just where interest rates are, because a lot of people say, hey, Stephen, we've had interest rates in the 8s before, and the 10s and the 12s. Man, I had an interest rate at 17%. It does not matter, because it's not just interest rate. It's the value of the home, and it's where incomes are. And if you really look at where we are right now today, there's no room for rates to go up higher because of where values are today. Values are so high. So you can't, so for those people that say, hey, we've been here before, yeah, shoot, my first interest rate was 9%. Well, mine was 9%. And that was a lot higher than where we are today. But man, I couldn't imagine having an interest rate at 9% right now. That would be absolutely awful. So there is an affordability housing crisis. It's not just about rates. At the interest rate level of where we're at today, we can't absorb much higher interest rates. We already can tell there's an affordability issue that's out there. So with that spike in interest rates, we've actually seen that demand, it affects the demand side of the equation and affects the supply side of the equation, both. And that is why we're having this kind of a tug of war, where last year when interest rates were going up so fast, and at the same time, inventory was actually starting to climb last year, especially at this time of the year. What we had was, we had values that started to really come down because we continued to see interest rates go up. So, supply, that we're in summer right now, and what happens during summer is that's when supply rises and then peaks during the summer, and it's also when demand slowly falls. So that is kind of what we're experiencing right now. It's just the supply isn't screaming higher like it was last year, but it is rising slightly, and demand is slowly falling as well. And we'll talk about that. So you can see it in the numbers. We do have low demand, and these higher rates have resulted in way lower purchase applications. And you can see it here that in the last week, because we're at 7% or close to 7% interest rate, 6.9%, it's really, we're starting to see week over week where the numbers are down. And it's down 2% in the last week. It's actually down 27% year over year. Now, about 2 months ago, it was off like over 40% year over year. And then just last week, it was off 30%. About 31% off year over year. Now it's down to 27%. And that's because last year at this time, the market was slowing down and purchase applications were slowing down. And this is purchase applications done by the Mortgage Bankers Association. You could see this over time that it's actually been really low. It's gotten lower. Now we're staying at a very, very low level. And but year-over-year statistics aren't even going to hold true until, we're going to be able to look at year-over-year statistics and really compare where we are today versus last year. Probably around August is where we'll be able to compare year-over-year data, and it'll be a lot closer. Now, when you have interest rates that are a lot lower, that's going to translate to fewer pending sales, and it absolutely has. Translated to fewer pending sales. And you can see it here. I'm pointing to where we are, 2023 on the right-hand side, 2022 pending sales. You can see it was doing really well at the beginning of the year and was marching its way up. And then in March, it reversed course as interest rates went down, and it went way down. And in 2021, it was very, very solid the whole year. 2020, you can see that big dip in the middle, that gap, that was COVID. And then it increased to levels that we have not seen since prior to the Great Recession days. Or you could see it kind of in 2012, but we had a lot of short sales back then. 2019 levels, that was less than 2020 and 2021. And you could see that where we are today compared to 2019, the demand readings are just way off across the board. And if in looking at demand readings, our demand reading is a snapshot of pending sales, the last 30 days of pending sales. And today we're at 11,365. We just did the numbers today. Last year, 14,116. 24% higher. So that down 2% was actually down 2% in the last 2 weeks. And you can see the trajectory of this line, that it's not really diving like it was last year at this time. So last year's the orange line, this year's the blue line. So it is going down slightly, and pretty soon it's going to be pretty close to where we were last year. Now, pre-COVID, prior to COVID, 2017, 18, and 19, that's 55% higher than where we are right now today, 17,655. Pretty close to where that purple line is where we should be. Rather, we're way below that, and that is the softening of demand because of home affordability. That's only one of the reasons why we're seeing soft demand, because we need to talk about inventory. And inventory, there really is a housing shortage on the inventory side of things. And there just are not that many homes that are out there. So the higher interest rates have affected the number of pending sales. There aren't as many buyers in the marketplace. However, the few buyers that remain are having a hard time even finding a home. And that is because of this hunkering down effect, where a lot of people are not moving simply because they're locked into a very, very good low fixed rate mortgage. They're enjoying that fixed rate mortgage, and it precludes them to move. For Pete's sake, even if they could move and it penciled out, it would be a big hit to their family budget, because not only would they be looking at a higher interest rate if they were moving up, they'd be looking at a higher dollar volume, which means that their property taxes would be higher. So they'd have higher property taxes on top of much higher payments because of the higher interest rate. So 87%, and I just recalculated this. This is based upon throughout 2022. So 87% have a mortgage at 5% or lower in California, anybody that has a mortgage. 69% have an interest rate at 4% or lower. And 30% have an interest rate at 3% or lower. And I'm doing California. United States is very similar to this. It's not quite as high as these numbers, but it's very, very similar. But if 3%, almost a third, have less than a 3% mortgage, and then interest rates are at 7%, it precludes a lot of people from making that kind of a move. And you could see it in the numbers as far as the number of for sale signs, the number of homes coming on the market compared to the 3-year average prior to COVID. That's 2017, 18, and 19. In 2020, we were missing 9% of all of the normal sellers. In 2021, there were 7% fewer sellers. In 2022, when we started to see rates, and this is no longer COVID related, it had everything to do with rates going up, 19% fewer sellers, missing 51,200. But what's important is just January to May of 2023, in Southern California, missing 46%, missing 50,500 sellers, so almost as many as all of 2022. And you could see it here that the initial COVID lockdown is on the left. And on the right is 2023, the first 5 months of the year. And you could see this is the number of homes coming on the market. How off is it compared to the 3-year average prior to COVID for that month? And that's January through May, and it is off considerably. Like I was saying, off 46%. And in 2022, that's all 12 months is that green bracket, and 2023 is almost equal to all of 2022, which means for all of 2023, we're going to be missing a lot more sellers for all of 2023 compared to 2022 and compared to the 3-year average. As a matter of fact, the projected number of homes coming on the market, it'll be 112,500 fewer projected missing sellers based upon the first 5 months of this year. So that is a lot of missing sellers. Now you can understand with fewer sellers, it has really crushed the number of homes that are available, as well as, so we have demand that is pending sales, a reflection of pending sales. Well, we have fewer pending sales because of how high interest rates are. But we also have fewer pending sales because of the lack of homeowners coming on the market. So the combination of the two has really dwarfed the number of pending sales, and it's also made the number of closed sales collapse at the same time. So you can see the where the active inventory is right now, and I'm pointing to where we were as of the start of June of each year. And 2023 was the only time it was lower was in 2021, and in some markets that we track, actually right now is the lowest level that we've had since we've started tracking this. Like in Orange County, it's the lowest level since 2004 when we started tracking it. And San Diego and LA also are having a real issue with the number of homes on the market compared to prior years. So, but you can see 2023, the only time that it's been lower is in 2021. In 2021, that was a COVID year. And that was the start of when things got so hot that our inventory just started depleting. And you can see in 2019, that was prior to COVID, a lot more homes on the market. And go back, 2018, 17, 16, 15, a lot fewer homes, a lot more homes on the market than what we have right now today. And you could see it in the numbers as far as today is concerned after crunching the numbers and taking a look at it. Today we're at 18,817, only went up 1% in the last couple of weeks. Last year we were at 23,340. The gap is widening between today and last year, that orange line. It was growing like crazy, but this year we're not getting a lot of growth because there's not a lot of movement in interest rates. Yeah, they've been as low as 6%, but they've been pretty much staying between 6.5 and 6.75. Right now, they're a little bit higher, so which could be affecting demand slightly, but really it boils down to not enough homes on the market. So last year, 24% more, and pre-COVID, there's almost 40,000 homes on the market versus less than 20 right now, which means more than double the number of where we're at currently right now. So based upon the supply, the number of homes available right now, the active inventory, and demand, the recent pending sales snapshot that we do, what is the speed of the market? And the overall speed of the market, the lower the number, the hotter the market. Now, we're not used to seeing when the speed of the market drop that much below 60 for that long of a period of time. It typically does not happen during the summertime. We get in between about 60 and 90 days. And as you can see right now where we're at today, the only time that it was hotter was for a brief moment in 2013 when we were just coming out of the Great Recession and things were hot, and also during the COVID years between 2020 and the first half of 2022. And if you're wondering where we are right now, today we're at a 50-day expected market time. It is the exact same level that we were at last year at this time, but last year it was slowing down. This year it's slightly slowing down. The market time's growing a little bit, but not that much. which is typical for this time of the year. You can see the red line, that was 2021. It was growing a little bit. So we anticipate it will continue to grow at that same rate like 2021 line. And it's also the same as 2020. You could see that green line, that was 2020. You could see it was getting hotter at this time of the year because we were still in the midst of a COVID pandemic, but all of a sudden interest rates hit record lows, and it ignited a lot of activity and demand. And pre-COVID, we were at 68 days. So that's the 3 years prior to COVID. We were at a 60-day expected market time. Today, we're at 50 for all of SoCal. All the markets that we're we are looking at, Bay Area, Phoenix, Vegas, Sacramento, everybody's experiencing the same issue of not enough homes on the market that are coming on the market. So as a result, demand is way down. Demand's way down for two reasons. Remember, the two reasons are that we have that we have much higher interest rates, so that's going to impact affordability. But we also have way fewer homes on the market for people to even purchase. So it's artificially bringing that down, that number of pending sales, because there are not enough homes available. So you're wondering, okay, when is this recession going to end for housing? And really, it boils down to when are interest rates going to come down? Because people talk about interest rates going up even higher, 7.5%, 8%, which I really don't see in the numbers. But even, let's say, hypothetically, that were to happen, it's just going to create a bigger gap between where homeowners are right now with their awesome, incredible fixed rate mortgages, which, by the way, in California, I think it's 96% of all Californians have a fixed rate mortgage. So for all those people that think there's a ton of adjustable rate mortgages, they're just not out there. So when is this gonna fix? It's really gonna be when interest rates get to about 5.5%. And when is that going to happen? We don't know. We anticipate that we're going to start to see some choppiness in the market coming up. That will happen. And when there's choppiness in the economic scene, that will create it will create lower interest rates, which as a result, we'll see even more pending sales, and we'll see the market actually get hotter. And as soon as we get down towards 5.5%, it'll invite more sellers to finally place their homes on the market. And then at that point, we'll see higher pending sales readings as well as higher closed sales. But until then, we're just going to be dealing with the same thing: muted number of closed sales. And it's going to be negative year over year until we get to probably around a little bit later this year, probably around September. And then we can start comparing this year versus last year's statistics. So, hey, you want a copy of this report? We send out a PDF copy to anybody that's a subscriber to our report. You can go to reportsonhousing.com. That is what we do. That is our company. And we have reports that's all over SoCal and in the Bay Area as well. The most recent report is called Different Flavors of the Market. All 6 different housing reports that we put together all have this right now. A new one comes out for Orange County, LA, and San Diego this coming up week. And you can utilize the coupon code SUMMER because that is where you can get a free month and start enjoying summer. I'm looking outside right now. We actually have some sunshine, so it's finally looking a little bit like summer. And I know it's not technically really summer until later on this month, but as far as housing is concerned, it is summer, because summer is when the kids get out of school, and all my kids are out of school. There's lots of graduations. I've been looking on Facebook and Instagram, and everybody's been blowing up about all the different graduations. So kids are home. That's when summer begins. So, and that's when all the distractions happen and people go on vacations and all that good stuff. So, speaking of vacations, I want everybody to know that this is the last housing debrief until after the 4th of July. We won't be bringing you one that week of the 4th of July. It'll be the following week when we resume. So we're going dark for a few weeks, and we will see you then. So I hope you have a fantastic finish to your week, and I hope you have some fun summer things planned. We absolutely do. We're going to enjoy it. So enjoy your summer. We will see you in the middle of July when things are going to be really hot, and we'll see where the market is at that time. So thank you for tuning in to yet another Housing Debrief.